Welcome to Disciplines of Leadership. One of the things that we hear repeatedly about leadership is there's a deficit, that there is need for more leaders. But in today's market, one must ask this question is what's a leader and what makes a leader? And how do you know if you're leading at all or if you're a leader? And maybe you're just a good follower. And isn't there room for good followers? But as we begin this class, we want to use the definition that Nordhaus uses with regards to leadership. There are many definitions out there, but this definition will be the one that guides us. And Nordhaus says that leadership is a process whereby an individual influences a group of individuals to achieve a common goal. And it's important to take into consideration what that means. So for Nordhaus, leadership is a process. It isn't just one single act, one single event, but it's a process in which a leader, a person who's influencing a group, moves people forward. It does involve influence. So that means everyone leads at one level or another because everyone is influencing someone. And it helps us take our daily activities out of what we would consider mundane and say, no, if I'm spending it with people and I'm influencing them toward change in behavior or toward a common good, then I'm indeed leading them. And the influence of others is an absolute indispensable part of leadership. Leading isn't just about making or coercing people to do what you want them to do, but it's influencing them toward community buy-in of a common thought. Another aspect of leadership is common goals. Within the church, it's rather easy to think about common goals that we all would believe in Jesus, that we would all have a life that would reflect who Jesus is, but also that we would all consider outside of our own community of being like Jesus on how to influence the world to come into relationship with Jesus. So not only am I influencing people, but I'm influencing them toward a common goal, and it's a common goal that's agreed upon by the group. So when we consider leaders and those who are following, we do want to remember that leadership is a process whereby an individual influences a group of people to achieve a common goal. And for not only is leadership look like that, but so does discipleship. When we consider what is a disciple and what does discipleship look like, it's the same definition where I'm influencing people, a group of people, to engage in a common goal, and that's to be like Christ. So part of your discussion this week on discussion board will be to distinguish between Nordhaus's definition of leadership and then how do you consider discipleship, and what does discipleship look like, and are they the same or are they different? But one thing we want to talk about before you begin this chapter is leadership just a trait? Is it determined by certain types of behaviors, certain characteristics? Does that determine whether you're a leader or not? Then also there's issues to consider whether it's assigned. Is it a position or is it emergent? Meaning I emerge as a leader. Assigned leadership often has to do with power and how you influence a group. So power can be referent power, that's based on relationships and how the followers identify you, or expert power, meaning all of those of us who are Life Pacific with doctoral degrees, we're considered experts in our field, so we have expert power. So as leaders, we're looked to answer certain very specific questions with regards to areas that we have expertise in. Then there's legitimate power, and that's based on having a status or a position or job authority. And then you can also, in legitimate power, you can determine the fate of people in terms of punishment. Then reward power, that's the ability to give rewards. I think sometimes professors have reward power. We can give you extra credit if we need to. And then coercive power, that means I can cause you to do or make you to do something outside of your will. So dictators, things like that, they use coercive power. The other thing to take into consideration with leadership is the distinction between leadership and management. And when you read the PowerPoint, you'll notice one of the slides that gives a distinction between leadership and management. Management basically maintains the status quo. They're not trying to create vision or direction. They're just trying to do administrative tasks. It's the leader who's the one doing more than just the status quo, but they're creating vision, they're collaborating, they're guiding the group forward. So people are looking to them to influence the group toward a common goal, or managers maintain that. So you have to think about, well, when we make these distinctions, it's not that one is better than the other, but it is good to acknowledge, especially when you are a strong leader, that if you're in a management role where you're not creating direction, you're not pushing a group forward, you might find yourself frustrated. So they really are neutral. So as we go forward this semester, these next 8 weeks, I want you to remember what this class is about. One, it isn't that you would agree with all the things that Nordhaus suggests in terms of leadership, but you take opportunity to examine the theories and note how maybe you lead with a certain style based on one of the theories that you will be exposed to. Each week that you will, at the end of each chapter, go to the site and you can either do the test, you can do it in your book, but it's easier just to do it online. At the end of your book will be a website where you can take the test, and then you'll evaluate, what did you discover about yourself? What did you discover about that leadership style, or maybe that theory that you didn't know before? You might find during the semester that there are certain theories that resonate with you, certain styles of leadership that resonate with you, that you think, yeah, that's how I lead. I like that style. An example of one of the theories we'll talk about is situational leadership. And I find that's a great model for developing someone with no skills, where they don't understand the task, to guide them and direct them with how much I influence them. And then it's a progression of a bell curve where I influence them a lot at the beginning where they need direction and they need buy-in, to where at the end where they don't need any more direction. They know exactly what to do. They need very little supervision on my part. And situational leadership is a great model for discipleship and training people new coming into any environment. So that's one of my favorite theories. The other theories that we'll talk about, we'll talk about leadership and culture, women in leadership, ethics with regards to leadership, so a variety of topics. You'll also read The Tale of Three Kings, which is an interesting look at leadership, especially when you're anointed as a leader, or you feel called to be a leader, but someone else is in leadership over you who might be functioning in a very immoral way. So it's a great picture of King David and Saul and their relationship and leadership. And you'll enjoy that book. And actually, just be prepared, that book comes up very quickly with a review. And then The Dark Side of Leadership. You'll have a chance to think about what happens when leaders have failure and how do we deal with that. And then how do we redeem it? Is it redeemable? Once you're a leader and you make massive mistakes, can we redeem that? And that book gives you just a picture of problematic areas for leaders, and then what to do when there's failure. How do you redeem that? So I'm looking forward to a semester with you. Each week you'll have papers that you respond to and reflections that you'll do, discussion board on topics related to whatever we're talking about this week, and then also then engaging with the textbook, with not only through reading, but then taking the tests and reflecting on what's your leadership style. Take time each week to consider, yeah, this is a yes, thumbs up, thumbs down for me in terms of the leadership that you're looking at. So that way, at the end of the semester, when you go to write a leadership paper on yourself, then you'll be able to decide, yeah, I like these theories. These theories reflect who I am and how I lead. These theories do not reflect who I am and how I lead, and why they don't. So be sure you're able to engage with the material that you will read through the next 8 weeks and how it informs what kind of leader you are. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me at katetremper@lifepacific.edu, or you can call me here if you're in the States. For those of you who are in Turkey right now, feel free to Skype me. If you want to have a group Skype discussion, we'd be delighted to do that. Or if you want to do video chat so we can talk about what you're reading. I'm most delighted to do that. So each week you'll have a short video by me introducing the topic and guided toward the PowerPoints that you can check out on Moodle. Again, if you have any problems or questions, don't hesitate to ask me. I'm looking forward to spending the next 8 weeks with you discussing leadership. Take care. Bye-bye.